Hello and welcome to Real Talk Live. I'm Ben Ferguson, and I am so excited to be back. I don't think I've made a show in 3 weeks, and I apologize if you guys have been seeing that repeat about how I've had to overcome three different obstacles in different parts of my life, which I actually liked the show. I don't usually watch these. In fact, I never watch these shows, but I watched that one over the holidays, and it was good. But after the third time, even I got tired of watching how wonderful I am. But anyway, listen, we have a really good show. A couple of big announcements. Big announcements. This show's going to be a little different. I don't have a guest and I don't have a co-host. Well, I do, but he won't talk. But anyway, it's going to be me and you. It's going to be it's time to get to know each other, right? I want you to get the kids. Bring the kids inside. Get them inside the living room. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Get the chicharrones and the palomitos and the tapatio, whatever you need to get. Get some Flamin' Hots. Come on in and let's get to know each other. It's been about 6 years now, I think, since I started on this channel, or on this channel 17 anyway. And I was just noticing before the show that I have like 175 videos and almost 2,000 subscribers to YouTube or whatever. I mean, I don't know where time goes, but we've done a lot of stuff. We've done the evening show with Ben Ferguson. I think some of you remember. And by the way, I know some of you out there actually watch this show, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. Pine Valley Medical, we did the cop show where I played the detective precinct and My Family with Hazel. And we did Dude, You're Making a Scene, and now we're doing Real Talk Live. One of the big announcements is not only, I really do want to get to know you. I want you to get to know me. I think you've known part of the creative side of me, but not me. Anyway, so here goes. One of the big announcements is I really like everything I do. I try to do better than what I did before. I promise you. I'm going to try to do better, and I won't bore you. So one of my TV shows that I really liked when I was growing up are game shows. So I decided hopefully within 2 weeks' time, we're going to do a classic 70s game show episode, which you'll see in the same time slot that I normally have. And it's going to be, I picked my favorite game shows, The Dating Game and Password. Now, dating game, in the 70s, the dating game was, I can't remember the guy's, the host, but there was the man or the lady, and then the three contestants on the other side, and he or she asked them questions and chose a date at the end, and they went on a trip, I think. Here's what we're going to do. Somebody asked me, Ben, things are different. Now that we have Tinder and we have all these other dating apps, what if somebody who's gay wants to be on the show? And I thought, you know what, that's cool. Let's do that. In fact, let's have a gay dating game. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do, and if you or somebody you know would like to be on the show, we're going to, first round of shows, we're going to do female between 25 and 35. Go to Craigslist right now. You'll see an ad under gigs, and you'll see Real Talk Live, and you'll see my ad for it. And let me know if you would like to be on the show. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be at TVSB at the studio. I promise it's going to be fun. And just to keep things efficient, we're going to use the same people that are on the game show. We're going to keep them after the game's over, rearrange the chairs, and then we're going to play Password. Do you guys remember Password? A lot of you don't know what Password is. Password is where there's two contestants on either side. I stand in the middle because I'm the host. And I say, like, one contestant can't hear what the password is, and the other person has a card, and let's say it's bowl, B-O-W-L. So you hear the password is bowl. Now, if I'm a contestant, I have to get my partner to say bowl. So what am I going to say? I'm going to say super, and he's going to say man, Superman. Well, no. So now the next guy goes, he knows that we've said super and man, so now he's going to say football. Football, Super Bowl. So boom. Anyway, that's the game. It'll be fun. And so two contestants aren't going to win on the game show. So they will have opportunities to win on Password, and we're going to have money. You're going to win like $100 or a dinner for two or something like that. And the winner of the date, they go out. We're going to pay for their date. If they want to, and I hope they do, the next day or two, we're going to have another one of these shows, podcast shows. We're going to have them on, and they're going to talk about the date and talk about if they had fun and what. It should be a lot of fun, and that I'm excited about. If I see something, I've seen a lot of shows that I've almost done, but I wasn't really excited about. This one's cool. whether it's gay or not gay or whatever, it's going to be fun, and we're going to have women, we're going to have men, we're going to have everything. So I look forward to that, and stay tuned. I should have that on this channel before the 2 weeks is up. So cross your fingers on that. Anyway, that's exciting me. I'm happy about that. What's the other big news? The other big news, well, the other news, anyways, I just read recently that I found interesting was a lady is suing McDonald's here in town, actually. She went to McDonald's, bought a bunch of food, and brought it home. But apparently, when she was unwrapping the food to give to her family, she found poop on the hamburger wrapper. So that's something you certainly don't want to see before dinner. Anyway, so she's suing McDonald's, and actually, it was in the court the other day, and it said that the McDonald's attorney approached the bench and said, "Listen, Your Honor, let it be known that our defense is she did order the number two." Yeah. Okay, it was a little joke. Anyway, uh, let me just tell you a little bit of truth to that. There was a story where somebody did do, when you walk into McDonald's and you order from the screen, they have this TV screen that's vertical. Don't touch those screens anymore. Either that or wipe it with a towel, because somebody actually got a Q-tip swab and they swabbed over 1,000 of those menu things, and it really did have poop on the screen. And I can see why. Everybody's in there with families and kids. Kids love McDonald's, and you're holding your newborn like that, and you order. Ugh. Anyway, just a little PSA announcement from yours truly, a little public service announcement. Watch yourself when you go to McDonald's. What's new and exciting? I bought a house in Vancouver, Washington. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. This is the get to know you part. I grew up in Seattle, Washington. I love skiing. I love the weather. I love cold, snowy, crappy weather. And so a friend of mine lives in Vancouver, Washington, which is right near the Oregon border, 20 minutes from Portland. And I went up to visit him, and I found a house up there in the woods that I really like, so I bought it, and I've been going back and forth for about a year, and I really like it, but I haven't really spent more than a week up there. So over the holidays, I spent almost a month up there, and I really got to know the people, and the people are very different than Santa Barbara people. It's very interesting. And I thought, how can I talk about the people without making anybody mad? So I decided to break it down. I thought I'm going to break it down to Costco. The differences I had from my Costco here in town. The Costco here in Santa Barbara is one of the most pleasant experiences you'll ever have. I mean, the people that work there, everybody is so nice. Anything you return, I don't care if it's dog food or diamond earrings, you walk up to return it, they ask for your card. They don't even know why you don't want it. They just say, "How would you like your money? Would you like it on your your credit card? Would you like store credit? Would you like cash? Whatever you want," which is really cool. During the summer last year, I bought an electric lawnmower and electric mower from Costco, and I bought it from the one over in Vancouver. But I found that the electric blower wasn't very good, so I bought a bigger blower from somewhere else, knowing that I can return the blower at Costco. So I go to Costco, to the returns place in Vancouver. First thing I noticed was a long line that took forever. Very strange, because they hear your boom, boom, boom. And finally, I approach the counter, and the lady looked at me, no smile. It's kind of like a junior high counselor. And she asked me for my receipt, and I'm like, "Well, I don't have a receipt. This is Costco. That's why I shop at Costco." She goes, "You don't have a receipt?" And I said, "No, but you should be able to find it, on the computer." So I think she knew I didn't have a receipt. It's there is a little power play. So right now I'm on the defense, and I'm like, "No, no, whatever. No, I don't." So anyway, she goes, "Well, I found it." She goes, "Sir, how many times did you use this?" And I said, "Well, the real reason it wasn't powerful enough for what I needed it for." She goes, "Sir, I didn't ask you that. I asked you how many times you used it." And now I'm getting scared. Now I'm like, "Is this Costco?" And I'm like, "I don't know, three, 4 times maybe tops." And then she went off and looked at me funny and said, "I'll be right back. Let me talk to my manager." Anyway, she came back, and I finally got the refund. And then I thought, "No, why did this just happen? Was this lady having, number one, a bad day? Number two, was she just a power-hungry person? Or number three, are the people in Vancouver funny like that?" because I read recently a lot of people in Amazon, a lot of people are buying like $300 earbuds, and then they'll go to CVS and buy $19 earbuds, and then they'll replace them in the box of the $300 ones and return them in Amazon because Amazon is so huge. They really don't have time to check everything. So there's a lot of funny business going on as far as returns go. So I don't know. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt that maybe she was having a bad day or something. I don't know. But this is interesting. So I fell off a bike up on a mountain about a year ago, and I hurt my back. So I had some prescription muscle relaxers. So I had the prescription transferred to the Vancouver Costco. So once again, I'm waiting in line for a long, long, long time, and there's two ladies that are helping, people that need their prescriptions. So right when it's my turn, I see one of the customers walks away, and I walk about 2 steps, and the lady, boom, sorry, closes the door, just like the lady at the bank. Sorry, I'm on break, and then leaves. So, go 2 steps, and I kind of do the funny walk back, and I sit there, and I wait, and I wait, and I wait, and I look back, and the line's all the way back to the mixed nuts. You know where the mixed nuts are in relationship to where the prescriptions are. I mean, that's a ways. And I'm looking at this lady, and she already has her pills, and she's talking to the lady behind the counter, and I'm wondering, and my back hurts, and I'm not. I just went through the whole shakedown at the at the returns counter, so I'm not in the best of moods. So I look over, and now I'm going to explain what I saw, and I'm not being mean. I'm just going to give you a clear view of what I saw. Now the lady, she represented Vancouver. She was probably 60 years old, real tight perm, light blue sweatshirt with a couple of kittens on the front, that said perfect underneath with a bunch of R's. You know where I'm going with this, right? You makes her own fudge, that kind of deal, right? She was, I leaned my head over, and she was talking about the property and how they have their property, and they just had the biggest problem with feeding their squirrels because all the raccoons would come eat the food. I'm not kidding. First thing I'm thinking is there any way we can have this talk some other time? Number one. Number two, why not feed the raccoons? If you're feeding the squirrels, it's the same thing. They're like cousins. And so right then, I'm thinking, I look behind me, and I'm thinking, we need to pull a Braveheart move. We need to get all these people. We need to rush the counter. I look back in disgust, and I look at this man. He's probably 6'6", full beard and mustache, big old hunting jacket on, and I look at him like he's going to be on my side, obviously, right? And I said, can you believe this? And he said, I'm telling you, she's right. Them babies, they can't climb. So that's Vancouver for you. The people are very, very nice. I'm learning. Everybody's been very nice to me. But it's funny, that one lady in the sweatshirt, you know who I'm talking about, with the two cats on it, that probably has a glue gun in one hand and a food candy thermometer in the other. Another thing, they have these Holly Hobby. I don't know if they used to have a couple craft stores here in town. I think one closed down. I think there's probably one left in Goleta, but anyway, they have what's called Holly Hobby. Now, these buildings are the size of Macy's, and they have one every 100 yards. And it says Holly Hobby in big, huge orange letters, and each letter is the size of your garage door. I mean, these are huge. So that's what people do up there. They make candy, and they do a lot of crafting. So I guess they spend a lot of time inside because there is a lot of weather out there. So very, very interesting. It's really conveniently located to Portland. It's only 20 minutes. You go over a bridge from Vancouver and you're in Portland, which is, I love cities. And Portland reminds me of Seattle. It's a very small version of Seattle. Except you all have seen on TV in the last 2 years all the crap that's gone down in Portland, where everything was on fire. The mayor just let everything burn. And I remember when it was all happening, the first thought came to mind was, you need more policemen. You got to get more policemen. And at the same time, that's right when the mayor decided that we needed to defund the police. So, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but you know the phrase, you don't have to outrun your buddy. You don't have to outrun the bear. You just have to outrun your buddy. I'm that smart. I'm that kind of guy. So right now, they have so many problems in Portland. They have a new thing where, you've seen on the videos people walking into Louis Vuitton and all these places and taking what they want and walking out. Well, they're doing that at supermarkets, at drugstores. Home Depot, they have a new rule, and it's dead serious. If it's under $800, and these people are bringing calculators in, if people walk out with under $800 worth of stuff, don't even bother grabbing them. Don't call us. the amount of manpower we have, we're not going to be able to take care of the shoplifters, and we don't want to take care of the shoplifters. Charge it to your insurance, because if we take the guy, by the time we get through booking him, throwing him into an already full jail, it's going to be more than $800. So people are literally walking into stores all over the place, taking everything they can under $800 and walking out. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, the only thing that I can think of is to bring the army in there and fix things. I mean, I don't know. It's getting worse and worse and worse. Anyway, interesting. I want to bring up another thing. Leah Thomas, I think, is her name, the transgender Olympic swimmer. I just read about this the other day, and I was extremely interested in the story. Transgender, I think it's wonderful. I think everybody needs to be themselves, and that's totally cool. But you have to keep things fair. Now, especially in sports. So here's what I hear. This male has turned trans I don't know the right words, has turned themselves into a woman by doing certain things, having the operation and taking certain pills, to do that. But now she's swimming against other women. Now, I've got a couple problems with this. First of all, if I had a daughter that was swimming every morning and every night since she was, in fourth grade, and now she finally made the Olympics, and now she has to swim against a man because it is a man, right? It's biologically a man. Larger frame, larger cage, larger heart, larger lungs. It's a man. That's not fair. Period. I think men used to compete against men, and women didn't compete at all. We're talking about early days. We're talking about Roman days. Then women wanted to compete, so to be fair, women competed against women, which is wonderful. So now we have men, and then we have women. So now let's have transgenders. Let's have transgenders compete against themselves. Is that fair? That's totally fair. Those are my thoughts. I still blows. I mean, it's just a no-brainer to me to think in any other stretch of the imagination to allow that to happen in that situation. It doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, don't know what your thoughts are. I consider myself to be a pretty even-keeled person. It was funny. I was looking on the news, and I realized that we live in Santa Barbara. And by the way, Santa Barbara, if you think about it, and we all complain, we get caught up, and I go to the restaurant and I don't get my food right away, and wah, wah, wah. The truth is we sincerely live in the very absolute best place in the whole entire world, not just country, not just state, but in the best city in the whole world, which is pretty amazing. So I was looking at the problem in Canada. They're not getting trucks, and we're not getting food. There's a supply and demand. There's a little bit of problem there, and I guess we're so used to getting everything we want. Sometimes we get a little upset when we don't get everything we want. And then I saw a story on North Korea. North Korea shot a missile off. I don't have a problem with that. I mean, North Korea is North Korea. But then I thought, Korea missiles are pretty expensive, and I started thinking, how does North Korea get their money? I mean, they don't have oil. They don't have diamonds. I don't even know if they have coal. So I started looking into it. A couple things I found very interesting. They have one department. It's like called the D13, and they don't admit to it, but it's there because they've had several people say it's real. And what they do is just like the mafia. They just go out, and their whole job is to bring back American dollars. Doesn't matter how they do it. So a lot of them will go to China and hijack trucks, sell TVs, boxes of cigarettes, all that 1930s stuff. So they do that, and their other main thing, where they get most of their money, is they have a huge computer room, and that's where they get tens and thousands of dollars every day. And it's so funny, because right when I saw this, or right when I was reading about it, that morning I received an email saying somebody has compromised your Amazon account. Somebody from Ohio spent $700. If this isn't you, please call this number. So I called the number, and the lady says, I said, what was, it was pretty legit. And I said, what was the item for 700? Oh, it was a PlayStation. Okay, so that makes sense. And so, okay, I'm like, all right. She goes, hang on, and let me get you my manager. So another guy comes on the phone, and he's talking, but he said everything was fine. I mean, I was sold on the whole situation. And then he said, "Listen, sir, what is your favorite means of ordering? Is it on the phone? Is it on a laptop? Or is it on your PC?" And I'm like, "Okay, that question doesn't make any sense." So right at that point, I said, "You know what? That doesn't make sense. I'm going to hang up and I'm going to call you back." And so, click, he hung up, and I called Amazon back, and they said, "No, nobody has charged your account $700, and no, it wasn't us, and that is a scam." So, I mean, that's total North Korea stuff. That's what they're doing. So if you think of you're a very poor country, and now you're getting nuclear missiles, now you need money. It's really interesting how you think about how could we, they've got to have like a room full of people going, how do we get money? So that's one way. The other way, what do they have a lot of? They have a lot of people. So it used to be that the U.S. would send, it still is actually, that they would send, they outsource their work, like get clothes sewn and get products made in China because they don't pay the Chinese hardly anything to do that. But now North Korea has their own sweatshops where they don't pay their people anything, not a dime. They tell them, "You're a North Korean, this is what you do. Now get in there and start sewing pants or sewing shirts or whatever." They keep thousands and thousands of workers in these big, huge buildings, and they keep them overnight. They all sleep there, they feed them there, and the majority of them never leave that building for the rest of their lives. Think about that for a minute. So, you go to Costco, and Costco, one of the wonderful things about Costco is, those cool down coats with the thin, layers of down that were $300-400 when they first came out. Now, I swear to God, I bought one the other day for $12. How the heck can they do that? Now I'm thinking. So anyway, now we're trying to figure out to make sure that we don't buy any clothes that were outsourced in North Korea. But think about that. You're born in North Korea, and you're basically locked into a sweatshop, and you're not going home. I mean, pretty amazing. So when your food doesn't come, just take a deep breath. It's going to be okay. What else do we got? The episode of the game show. I am truly excited about that. So, if you have any ideas or any shows or anything that you want to do about this show, we really have fun to have any of you out there as a viewer. If you want to come on, let me know. We'll do a podcast. You can come on as a guest, and we can have any subject that you'd like to go over. I think it'd be kind of fun. But anyway, it's been kind of fun talking to you guys. I would love to do a lot more of this stuff. And how much time do we have? We got 5 more minutes. Let me think what I can talk about. So speaking of the service industry, a couple of things that I felt kind of interesting. When you go to restaurants, I spoke about that. When you go to restaurants now, a lot of the times, and I think you'll notice that when you order your food, they ask for your tip up front, which is a whole new thing. And I think they realize service has gone downhill so bad that they better collect their tip up front because they got a better shot at making a tip, because they're not going to get it the way they're treating you these days if they wait till the end. So the other day I go to get a sandwich, and it's a sit-down place, but they automatically hit you with, after you pay for it, "Go ahead and answer the questions, please." And it said 15%, 18%, 20%. So I hit 20%. And finally I asked where the water was. Oh, points over to the water. I mean, you have to do everything yourself, and it was just blew me away. And I understand we're in a pandemic and we all need to work, but you know what? We all need to work a little harder. I mean, if we're in a pandemic, that's even more reason to provide better service. The other day I bought 3 donuts, $1.50 a piece, and I don't know, $4.50, right? And I go to the check stand or go to check out, and she said, "Go ahead and answer those questions," and there was a tip thing. I'm like, tip for what? So I didn't tip her, but I mean, for putting 3 donuts in a bag and handing it to me and asking for a tip, that's kind of a slap in the face. I mean, it's like, yeah, if you want to, add a nickel onto the price of the donut, that might be a little bit better way to go. I don't know. Anyway, things are getting better though. 2022, I know they're exciting, and this channel is getting me excited. Like I said, I've done like 175 videos, and of course I want to hit it big, man. I think this next show that we're going to do, I think it's exciting, and I'm always looking to hit it. I'm always looking to make it. So when you see anything I do, you'll know I'm pouring my heart into it. So know that, and anything I could do for you, if you want to be on the show, let me know. Other than that, life's good. Life's wonderful, and I'm glad you and appreciate you watch. And anyway, we'll look forward to seeing you next time. Look for the show in about 2 weeks. We'll see you next time.